and welcome. And I'm at Salesforce Connection happening in Chicago, which is a premier event for marketers to explore the future of marketing through agentic strategies. Held annually, it offers 2 days of hands on learning, in depth sessions, and workshops centered on AI driven marketing and innovations. Now, when it comes to AI powered marketing, since I'm here, one thing is clear: we are watching the future unfold in real time. At Salesforce Connection, one clear message rang out, which is agentic marketing is absolutely action ready. And with it comes a new playbook for how brands connect, engage, and co create with customers in ways that feel deeply personal at scale. One of my standout conversations at this event was with Ariel Kelman, who's the CMO of Salesforce, on how agentic AI is transforming marketing roles, the future of personalization, and what's next for customer service and marketing in an AI first world. Joining us today at Connections in Chicago, we have Ariel Kelman, who's the CMO of Salesforce. Welcome to CNBC TV 18.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
Ariel, I heard you speak yesterday, and agentic AI is pretty much changing the marketing playbook as we speak. What are some of the conversations that you're picking up at this year's Connections?
Well, we talk to marketers all the time, and it's always a common theme that there's too much work they're being asked to do, and they're constantly being asked for better results. So anything we can do to help improve the productivity of the teams and their effectiveness is a win. So for AI agents, it was a natural fit to be able to see if we can automate more of their activities with really smart AI that can start to autonomously act on their behalf to market to customers in a more effective way.
Yeah. And having said that, what does the next era of customer service look like according to Salesforce?
Well, customer service, I would describe it as humans and AI agents working together to drive customer success. You think about, the humans are always going to be there.
Yeah.
We're not going away. There's way too much work to get done.
Sure.
But what would be great is if our employees could have AI agents to augment their capabilities to make their jobs easier, while at the same time fully outsourcing some of their lower value tasks to the AI agents to handle autonomously.
Yeah. And tell us, how is it also reshaping the role of a CMO, of a marketer?
Well, I think what at its best, what AI can do is help marketers focus on the strategic activities and then leave the drudgery and the repetitive tasks to the AI. And I think once we get more deployment of these AIs, we'll even see some of the structures of the teams change, because in a world where you have an amazing AI agent that's interacting with your customers, it really blurs the lines between customer support, sales, marketing. It forces companies to think about customer experience in a more holistic way, in a more customer centric way, and less in a way of what are the departments or org structure of their company. Yeah. In an era where everyone is concerned about privacy, how are you holding a marketer's hand to navigate, privacy and balance it with personalization? And it's super important. Privacy and data security is absolutely key. And this is why we advise companies to use an AI platform for a company that they trust with their data. And Salesforce is probably the most trusted company in the world at holding our customers' most sensitive data. For 25 years, we've held customer data and built all the infrastructure to govern its use and the privacy, and making sure someone opts out of communications, it filters through the entire system. And so we have that platform that we built for 25 years. All of that governance, all that privacy flows into the way that AI agents work on our platform.
This year has been an interesting one globally for businesses around the world. A lot of geopolitical tensions that have happened, a lot of, socioeconomic stress, has also restricted marketing budgets. In this time, where do you think
the marketer should put his money to get the maximum return on his investment?
Yeah, I think now more than ever, we're seeing CMOs being under pressure to deliver results. And so we're seeing somewhat of shifting into demand gen budgets from brand. Really, when you're a CMO, there's a portion of your budget where you can accurately measure with a lot of certainty how much output. Usually that's, for consumer businesses driving sales, or for B2B businesses, it's driving leads to your salespeople. And then there's brand and there's operations. And what we're seeing is people trying to be as efficient as possible with their brand and operations, and really trying to maximize their operational spend to deliver results for the business.
Yeah, but do you have a sense that are marketers being more frugal? Because otherwise, apart from
Some are, the smart
some are,
ones. Yeah.
but the smart ones aren't, or smart ones are.
I think the smart look, I've always believed like the smart, being frugal is smart. It doesn't mean being cheap. It means making sure that you're spending money on what matters. And the way I think about it with my teams is, every dollar that you save is a dollar you use for something else. And every CMO I talk to is being asked to do between 5 and 10 times
Sure.
the amount of stuff that they have resources to do. So frugality is really the key to innovation in my mind.
Yeah, what are some of the current gaps in marketing that you guys are equipped to fill? What are some of the things that you notice that marketers are not doing right now?
I think analytics is the first thing that comes top of mind. I think for too many marketers, it's too complicated to understand the performance of their campaigns, and there's too much latency, or it's too slow for them to be able to adjust to changes. So we have this approach with our AI agents, where you can just have a conversation with your data. So instead of calling a meeting to figure out whether your campaigns aren't performing, it's to go ask Agentforce, tell me which campaigns are performing well, which aren't. For the ones that aren't, tell me where they're not performing, and then recommend to me how I can rebalance the spend. So that type of activity we're seeing people do in minutes that would take weeks of meetings with lots of committees, which is not fun.
Sure, sure. This was something which was discussed extensively even during connections, the days that I spent over here, is the human element with so much of automation and AI. So how do you keep that human element intact in today's
Yeah,
day and
it's
age with
it's
so
well,
much of AI
you got to be smart about how you implement AI. Like what you don't want to do is go say, I'm going to have this AI robot go run all of my marketing campaigns and allocate the money, and I'm going to go on vacation and come back and check on it, right? At the same time, you don't want to do everything manually. So the smart way to do it is people go through the details to figure out what can we automate, where do we need a human in the loop to be able to check things. So in my example of reallocating money, if I go and say, well, this campaign's not performing well, recommend to me how I should reallocate, and could say, well, we're going to lower spend on this segment, pause this one, increase this one. You need a human to go and say, okay, I agree with 7 of those decisions, but number 8, I don't want to do. So like, that's the smart way to do it.
Yeah, let's speak a little bit about Salesforce and what are you most excited about as a leader, as a CMO going forward? What is that innovation that excites you as a leader
I
that
think,
you're taking to the
yeah, I mean,
market?
I think it's this technology of AI agents that we've been talking about, because it fundamentally changes the way people work. For too often in business applications, so much of the human work was clicking on forms, maybe looking at reports. But now we can have this incredible intelligence of AI sitting right next to our employees, and really making every employee as effective as our best employee.
Sure.
And then also for our customers, if you can create a customer experience that is self-service, where they're talking to an AI agent, you're replicating the experience of them talking to your best employee. I mean, that's magic.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, very well.
And then, in a world where trust, tech, and personalization collide, how are marketers staying ahead? We caught up with Bobby Jania, who's the CMO of Salesforce Marketing Cloud, to explore how AI, first party data, and cross channel orchestration are shaping the next wave of customer experiences, and how Marketing Cloud is helping brands move faster, smarter, and more meaningfully. So, more than reaction or reactive or prompt based answers, you are making AI, work with the marketers and be more proactive, is what you're trying to tell us.
It's a great way to think about it.
Yeah. And how do you do that, and how are you helping marketers do that to be more autonomous, more with a brain?
Mhm. So I think if you think about kind of like the waves of marketing, like the idea of marketing automation has been around for a while now. But marketing automation is just that. It's very reactive. It's very much the marketer is driving everything. The marketer is constantly in control and kind of like, overseeing all of the subtasks. With agentic marketing, when you start to get that proactive nature, now imagine that you can offload tasks to the AI.
Yeah.
Paid media optimization is a great example.
Yeah.
Where every day, every hour, the AI can go look at how your campaigns are performing
Sure.
across different paid media sites. And then just like an employee might, when you think about digital labor here, just like an employee might alert their boss of a potential problem and ask their with a potential solution, ask their boss, can I go ahead and do this?
Sure.
Now you have an AI agent doing that.
Yeah.
Where the AI agent's alerting you that something's wrong with your campaign, something should be changed.
Yeah.
And asking, can I go and take care of this?
Yeah, and that's becoming increasingly proactive as we just discussed. But how do you ensure that it aligns with brand's voice, with compliance and safety as well? What are the guardrails in place?
So the way we build Agentforce as a platform is that we give our customers total control. We've built it with a reasoning engine, and we have this concept called topics and actions, right? And the idea here is that when a human, whether it's an employee or one of our customers and customer, actually interacts with that agent, the reasoning engine is what figures out, well, what topic does this align to?
Yeah.
And then once it kind of identifies that topic, every topic has a set of associated actions.
Yeah.
And that's the guardrails that it can take place on.
Sure.
So as an example I can give is you can go to salesforce.com today, interact with our web agent, and start asking questions about our products. And it will return answers.
Yeah.
But if you go and ask for a recipe on chocolate chip cookies,
Sure.
it's going to turn back that that's not a topic it is able to respond to
Yeah.
and kind of reset saying, this is what I can help you do.
Yeah.
And so that really helps all of our brands have the guardrails and controls over what an agent can and can't do, how they do and don't respond.
Correct. Bobby, traditional marketing had something called as the brand custodian, where the person is responsible for the brand. So how much freedom do you think agentic AI can have to act on behalf of the brand in today's day and age?
Well, what's great is through the idea of prompting, we have a component called Prompt Builder. And what happens is that it kind of behind the scenes, you set it up so an employee might enter a prompt, right? You might talk to the agent in some way and say, hey, here's the question I have, here's the action I want to take. But then all these items are like appended to it. So imagine that now all of your brand guidelines are added when you ask it to go create an email or create a message, whether it be, what's the voice of the brand? Are we aspirational? Do you require an Oxford comma? Like whatever that might be.
Sure.
And so that the agent will respond with that tone and voice that a brand ambassador would have used before.
Yeah.
Because it is aware without the employee having to think about this every time or be worrying about it. It's set up in those guardrails.
Yeah. Bobby, also give us an understanding on how are you building this proactive AI? Like how are you making it so personal?
So the big thing here is that Salesforce, our customers put a lot of their customer data inside of Salesforce, both whether it be structured first-party data or unstructured data. Think a conversation you had with the service agent back and forth. And what Agentforce and large language models are really good at is dealing with vast amounts of data. And so that data can see, I can know, looking it up, what products someone has previously purchased, what products they've recently been looking at, if they've had a customer support issue, what was the problem and how long ago was it? And all of that really allows us to then craft a message or tone that is unique to that customer, that has the right level of excitement, expression, empathy, depending on where that customer is in at that moment with that brand.
Yeah. Bobby, when COVID happened, one of the key conversations was how a marketer has to be agile, how he has to adopt and adapt very, very quickly, adopt anything new and adapt very, very quickly to the situation around them. So what does marketing excellence look like in the era of agentic AI, according to you?
Yeah, I think that agentic AI is going to allow marketers to continue to go even faster, right? Like that agileness. I mean, I felt it at Salesforce. I felt it from our customers. Everyone just had to go even faster. And I think that this is where agentic AI is an amazing solution for a lot of the marketing tools we have today, because no one wants to spend 2 weeks to write a SQL query for a new segment, right? If something happens in the moment and you're an organization, you could be a healthcare company. And, we actually saw this not that long ago when there were a lot of the fires in the United States, where healthcare companies want to be proactive about reaching out to some of their customers that had asthma about tips to stay safe and what they can do. If it takes 2 weeks to write a query, fires are done. Right. And so how do we help our customers move faster where they can act on that data, where now creating a segment is as simple as writing a prompt. And then that can go out, and creating a campaign can be as simple as writing a prompt. Creating email can be as simple as writing a prompt. So we can help our customers go faster, which just helps them stay much more relevant. And that's true no matter what industry.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we are catching up with Julie Nestor, Executive Vice President, Head of Marketing and Communication, APAC, MasterCard, on how MasterCard is elevating brand visibility through the Priceless platform.
From music megastars to meaningful moments, MasterCard is striking all the right chords with its latest move in India, partnering with EverLive to bring more than 20 high-voltage performances to cities across the country. To tell us more about this today, we are joined in by Julie Nestor, MasterCard's Executive Vice President for Marketing and Communication in Asia Pacific. We are getting her take on brand purpose, cultural insight, and why she thinks now is the perfect moment to turn up the volume in India. Hello, Julie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Julie, let's first speak about EverLive. This is MasterCard's first performing arts sponsorship asset in South Asia. Why now, and why music as the medium right now?
Yeah, look, we're very, very excited about this new partnership. Why now? I think music has just never, been so exciting, and live performances particularly. And as you know, since the drought that we had in COVID, people are just so keen to get out and really experience live music. So we're seeing the increase, in live music and entertainment. In fact, it's now surpassed a US $1.4 billion economy, and with an estimated 19% CAGR over the next 3 years. And particularly interesting for us is the fascination that Gen Z have with live events and live music. And, with 2/3 of the India population being under the age of 35, we see this as a fantastic way to reach them and provide them with, immersive experiences that link to their passions.
Yeah, and we saw what happened with Coldplay last year. So with live events returning in full swing, as you mentioned, how does this partnership with EverLive fit into MasterCard's broader marketing strategy in the region?
Yeah, well, I hope you'll recall that our DNA really is about Priceless, and Priceless is all about linking consumers to their passions. And that's something that we've been doing now at MasterCard for 27 odd years. And music is a key passion, as I mentioned, particularly with this younger audience. So we wanted to find an opportunity to bring that to South Asia. And the EverLive partnership allows us to do that with some really strong artists, and also allows us to take music beyond just tier 1 cities and really reach communities and consumers all across the country with this proposition.
Since you mentioned Priceless, so how are you measuring this ROI on all of these priceless experiences that you're curating?
Sure. Well, we obviously look at what it does for our brand overall. So we pay attention to the brand metrics. But very importantly, and what we've seen particularly with Taylor Swift when she did her Eras concerts in the US, is the lift in overall spend that you see. So it's not just the ticket price value, but obviously people travel in. We see accommodation and T&E spend significantly increase. In fact, in the US, it increased about 68% for restaurants within a 2.5-mile radius of where the stadiums were. So we see the accommodation benefit. People buy merchandise. So overall, it kind of lifts spend, and we're really seeing people traveling in and out cross-border now for these great music experiences.
And wearing the marketer's hat, Julie, if I may ask you, how do these collaborations, help differentiate MasterCard itself in a very hyper-competitive payments landscape that we have today?
Well, in recent research that we did, we saw that over 80% of consumers saying that they look for their financial services brands to actually offer experiences that link to their passions. And that's something at MasterCard that we've been very focused on doing, whether that be through sports, whether it be through, art, culture, dining, experiences. That's what we want to offer. So I think that this is a great opportunity, to further that engagement. It drives for us, new spends, new customers through our bank partnerships, because people are desperate to get the tickets, and we know that there's actually a lot of barriers just through the purchasing and logistics of going to a concert. And so for us to be able to give customers access to pre-sale, be able to get the tickets first, and then get exclusive experiences as well. We see that when we do that in other markets, where these experiences are selling out within minutes. And that's a great experience that we can offer to customers. So that drives stickiness for our brand as well.
Wonderful. And how does, MasterCard plan to extend this strategy beyond music to other areas of passion and entertainment in the region? I know that you associated with the Tokyo Marathon as well. Being an avid runner, I keep a watchful eye on all the running events. But tell us more, how are you taking it to the other passion points?
Sure. Well, we do passion research with consumers actually every year. And so we've identified the top 10 passions of consumers, and we try and then create experiences and assets around that. So if you look across the region, we have everything from arts and culture to tennis, with our Australian Open sponsorship. We've obviously invested in cricket before in India, Tokyo Marathon, as you said. Also, gaming is another huge passion. So, we have a partnership with Riot Games. So we look to, really curate and find these assets that we know link to consumer passions. And so that is true across Asia Pacific. And India is just such a great opportunity with the population size and also, the younger audience. I think music is a real sweet spot, and that's why we've taken on this partnership.
Yeah, coming back, since you mentioned music is a sweet spot, coming back to the partnership with Ava Live, if you could attend just one of these 20 shows incognito as a fan, which one would you choose and why?
Well, even though I'm quite a lot older than him, I've had a crush on Enrique Iglesias for the longest
Absolutely.
time. So he's my number one.
He's my hero too from the song.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know what I love about this as well?
Yeah.
It's such a diverse range of music experiences that we will be offering, whether it's rock and roll, whether it's sort of EDM, pop, comedy. It all fits under this. So it appeals to a very diverse group as well.
Yeah. Also, do you remember the first concert you ever attended, and how did that make you feel? Does it connect you to your vision of, when you create these priceless moments today for the consumers?
That's such a great question, because I think I was only about 16 years old and I went and saw John Cougar Mellencamp in Sydney. And I went with two girlfriends and we got so dressed up, and, we were just so excited to be allowed out to go to a concert by ourselves. So it's a very, very memorable experience. And, I love live music, and I love everything that it brings, that connectedness. Even when Lady Gaga was recently here in Singapore, even as crowds were waiting to go home, through transit and having to wait in queues, they were all singing together. It really brings that kind of human connection, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, having said that, is there any dream artist, through this partnership, through MasterCard, that you would love to see MasterCard bring to Asia or maybe to India someday?
Could I ask for Beyonce, please, if she's listening? Please come. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, but I think, what we've seen through Taylor Swift and through Gaga, through Coldplay, these tier one artists, obviously there's a lot of passion around them. But also what we see is even some of the smaller artists that I certainly haven't heard of, they sell out as well. I think, people have got extremely broad tastes in music. So we hope that we can satisfy a lot of different tastes with this partnership.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, Julie, and sharing all of these insights with us today.